Hey everyone. Just give me a few moments. We'll give a few moments for everyone to join. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. We will be live shortly. All right, so it's 5:02. I just kind of want to give everyone about 3 minutes to get signed up as a member. So we're gonna start at 5:05. Yeah. So let me see what else. Let's maybe put a couple things on call. How about we play a trailer from our recent film? That'll be cool, right? Right? All right, let's try that. If it'll let us do that. Funky Monk, I am not using an Android today. I'm using an iOS. We will be doing, I will do an episode on Android, I promise, and we will be flipping over to Linux. So I want to get through kind of like a few of these core tools. Hey Mel, did you notice that Restream isn't telling us how many people are watching from YouTube? I don't know if you noticed that, but it says we have 0 viewers, even though I see a chat full of people. Hey everyone, it's good to see you. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder, it's Restream can't pull in stats from all the sites, which is really annoying. Um, but yeah, sorry everyone. Sorry, Funky. No Android today. We are going to be using iOS today, but I promise we will cover Android and Linux as platforms after these core tools. So we'll get through these core tools. I want to do the next show. Okay. On the next show, I'm gonna be switching to Midem proxy because I've had so if all of you look at the poll that I put out, um a Midem proxy or Widem proxy in the thing uh came in a very close second to Burp Suite. So I want to do Midem proxy, and then after Midem proxy, we will switch platforms to Linux and do it all over again in Linux and Android. So we will get out of the Mac OS ecosystem, Apple ecosystem, and we'll switch over to the Google ecosystem and Linux, and I'll use Android and Linux. So all of you can who are Android users can follow along in that. I will explain today how you do this in Android. But the actual when I switch to my mobile device, it will be an iPhone. So just heads up. All right. Cool. Yeah, cool. Understood. You're watching on your Android. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. So all right, I think we've given everyone maybe one more minute. Hey Pete, thanks for joining us. Job, thanks for joining. Greetings. Wow. Hey, hello Nigeria. Thanks for joining us, Nigeria. Um, anything but we can download now before you start so you can follow along other than Burp, obviously. Yeah, Matt. So definitely download Burp Suite. That's all we're going to be using today. Um, if any of you have an iOS device like an iPhone, you can follow along on your iPhone. The other thing you're going to want to do is write down the wireless information for your wireless NIC. Let me quickly show that. So if any of you are on Mac OS, let me make my font bigger. So for those of you who are going to be on a Mac as well, oh, the configure's not in there. Okay. You're going to want to pull up a terminal shell and then grab the IP address of your wireless NIC. I want to say for most of everybody, it's going to be EN1. So if you type in ifconfig EN1, it will give you the IP address of your NIC. One thing for those of you who are new members of Shadow Academy, I just want to let you know there is no such thing as a dumb question. I understand that in our audience, we have all levels of expertise from total beginners all the way to more senior pen testers who've been doing this for years. I am all about a level playing field. Definitely shouldn't encounter any bullying here in the community. So just ask a question, even if you think it's dumb. I want all of you to understand what's happening at all times. So if config, your command line will give you the IP address. So in my particular case, my internal IP of my Mac Studio is 192.168.1.56. The reason why you're going to need to know your IP address is because you're going to need to put it into your mobile phone once we get started on that portion of the proxy tests and stuff. So just a heads up. All right, cool. Hopefully everyone's ready. Everyone ready to rock and roll? Let's do this. Welcome new members to Shadow Academy. You have found it. If you've been looking, this is the official Shadow Academy course. I'm Alyssa Knight, obviously. With me is my producer is Mel. She'll be taking care of all of the production stuff like lower thirds, communicating with you in chat, making sure that I'm aware of any technical issues that's happening, like audio issues last time, or anything else. But here's the thing, I'm not going to be able to monitor the chat window all the time. So Mel will be actually pinning certain questions. So when I flip back to the screen, I can see any questions that are pinned and we can go through them so I don't miss any questions. What else? You may be seeing me take notes during this. That's because I want to make sure that the community who can't afford these courses for one reason or another does have a free resource out there to be able to get through some of the gotchas and some of the things that we trip on in this class while doing this. All right, so thanks for pointing that out, Matt. We were all beginners at one time, and unfortunately in the cybersecurity community, I'm not going to stereotype everyone, but there are some elements within the community that are very arrogant and very more elite than thou attitude, and I hate that. I've been in this, as many of you know, for 23 years. I've seen a lot of that BS, and that you're not going to find that in my corner of the web. So, we were all beginners at one time. We're here to help each other. And guys, Funky Monk, TJ, Oscar, if any of you guys see a question there and you know the answer to it, feel free to answer it. Just because I'm the instructor doesn't necessarily mean that I need to be the one answering all the questions. If any of you, Matt, if any of you want to jump in and answer a question, there's no sacred cows here. We're all one team. We're all part of Shadow Academy. So, yay. Okay. So, for those of you who don't know, Shadow Academy is about the tactics, techniques, and tools for hacking APIs. It is a growing area of focus in this trade craft. As many of you who may have met me for the first time on David Bomble's show, I was branded as an API hacker. Over the last few years, have published numerous research reports, one called Scorched Earth, where I hacked 55 banks in less than a week through their APIs. Before that, hacking 30 FHIR APIs in healthcare. And we are going to be hacking a healthcare API today. Yes, that's happening. And then, so I'm going to be demonstrating that on the mobile app side, where I will be finding an app to do network traffic interdiction with Burp Suite. We won't be doing anything with that, but with the healthcare API, we will, and I'll be showing that in a minute. And hopefully giving us access to other patient records. It is all, sandbox demo data, so it's all good. Don't worry about that. What else? And then before that, I hacked 30 mHealth APIs and apps. So I really have this focus on the more arcane area of vulnerability research. For those of you who have not read it, the report is called Playing with Fire, and you can download that from Approve's website. And then The other one where I hacked 55 banks through their APIs is called Scorched Earth. You can download that from No Name. And then before that was hacking mHealth apps and APIs. And then before that, I took remote control of law enforcement vehicles from my laptop. I was able to hack any Ford on the road. It was research sponsored by law enforcement. I was able to remotely start and stop the engines of any Ford on the road, including law enforcement, of course, and lock and unlock the doors as well. And it proved a huge attack surface. Ford is obviously refusing to admit any culpability or responsibility or that it was even real. They're not talking about it. They're refusing to respond to it. And so, whatever. But I have a video on my YouTube channel proving it. So, whatever. Ford can say what they want. For those of you who've not seen it, there's 2 amazing videos on my YouTube channel showing it where you see like this row of police cars and me remotely starting and stopping the engines. Anyway, let's get to it. Let's start hacking APIs. All right. So this is not a listen night going to the Port Swigger website, reading all the documentation and creating a PowerPoint that's going to put you all to sleep. This is a real hack. This is my process. If you're like, I want to hack like Alyssa Knight, I want to hack APIs like Alyssa, this is the course for you. I am not going to, there are no PowerPoints in this class, none whatsoever. And it's all about putting pedal to the metal, putting the elbow grease in, and actually typing into keyboard and doing a hack. And that's what we're going to do. So when I'm faced with an API penetration test, there's 2 types of APIs that all of you are going to encounter. That is a web API and a mobile API. So I want to go over some, like, man, Alyssa's going to do this like without any slides. She's yeah, that's the magic that is me. All right. So there's 2 types of APIs, web and mobile. A web API is simply just an API that has a web app as an API consumer or an API client. Okay, for those of you who don't know what an API is, think of it like a Rosetta Stone that allows 2 applications to talk. That's all an API is. Any car made after 2001 communicates with an API. Apps on our phone communicate with APIs. That little parking thing that moves up and down, a lot of those smart parking meters communicate with APIs. IoT, everything's communicating with APIs. We are in an API first world, everyone, which is why I said on David's show, if you're a penetration tester and you don't know how to hack APIs, you are falling behind and you will soon be antiquated. You need to know how to hack APIs. Even adversaries, black hats are shifting their focus to hacking APIs because that's where the data is. That is where the crown jewels are. So as white hats, you need to know how to hack APIs too, and that is the point of this course. So when I'm faced with an API, you've got those 2 types of APIs like I mentioned. There's a web API and a mobile API. A mobile API is going to be an app that you have to install on your phone, and that app acts as like the API consumer. It's basically the API client. It's what communicates with the backend API, right? Sorry, that like 0 watchers in the audience is freaking me out. I'm like, oh my God, where'd everyone go? All right, anyway, sorry. So that is a mobile API. So if you're probably saying, hey, Alyssa, since you can install their app on your phone and you can do that whole thing you did with MobSF that you showed us in the last episode, and you can find the hard-coded API keys and tokens. Do you prefer mobile APIs over web APIs? Actually, I prefer them both the same. And you're probably like, well, Alyssa, what about those web APIs? It's a web app. You don't really have as much access to the API consumer. Is that not as much fun? Wouldn't that be not as much fun? Wouldn't you have less? Yeah, but I mean, in a way, you don't have as much access to the consumer or client. But still, I'm going to show you something today in Burp Suite. If we have time, I'm going to show you how to hack web APIs. And it's a lot easier than you may think. And the reason why I actually like web APIs just as much is there's less of this stuff with web APIs, and I'll show you why. Okay. All right, cool. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right, how's that? Cool. I'm glad you're here. It just sucks that I can't tell how many actually people are here, but that's okay. I just assume it's a lot. All right. Hey, it's all about quality over quantity, everyone. I appreciate the quality of the members of Shadow Academy. All right. Let's let's do that. All right. So we're gonna create a fictitious thing here. We're gonna play out a story. All right. I've just got a phone call from the CISO of Acme Healthcare. Acme Healthcare, and the CISO wants me to hack their APIs. We signed the contracts. We're good to go. Today is day one. All right. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is install their mobile app. All right. So let's switch to that. Okay. So on my phone, look at my beautiful wife. Isn't she pretty? I love my Melly. That's my Melly. Okay. So I don't know how she puts up with me. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to make sure that their app is installed. Um, because we don't have permission to hack any of the APIs of these apps installed today. We're just going to play with some stuff like Bed Bath and Beyond and Walgreens and shit. Right. So like whatever. Let's pretend that we've just installed the Hack Me API app. Sorry, installed the Acme Healthcare app. And we're gonna now what we need to do is we need to go to Wi-Fi, and you can see that the name of our wireless access point. Yeah, we're that nerdy. We have like a guest Wi-Fi, and we have an IoT Wi-Fi for our refrigerator and all the IoT devices in our house. Um, so you're gonna click on your wireless access point. All right, do you see all of this, everybody? So here you see the IP of my phone. I'm pointing at my phone as if you guys can see me pointing. That I'm sorry. So then you're going to come here to configure proxy, and then you're going to click manual. Okay. So do all of you remember earlier when I pulled up my IP address? You're going to go into terminal and you're going to write down your IP address right now. If you want, if you any of you need me to pause or slow down, let me know. For those of you who are working along with me. So I'm going to jump over to EN1. I've just typed in ifconfig, and I'm pulling up my IP address, and it's 192.168.1.56. So I'm going to type that in. Isn't this cool? Look at this technology. Look how awesome this is. You can see my screen. All right. All right. 192.168.1.56. Now I'm going to put in, you see my battery's low. I'm like the queen of my battery is never charged. So I'm going to put in port 8082, right? And then I'm going to hit save. Okay. So I now have a proxy configured of my Mac Studio pointed at port 8082. All right. Hopefully all of you caught that. All right. Now I'm going to switch back to me so you can see my lovely face. TJ, yeah. Story of my life. All of my batteries are always dead. I'm surprised that our Tesla is not constantly dead. That's the one thing I actually charge. TJ says, are they all segmented? Yeah, actually, so we are yeah, it's Hack Me Healthcare. But that's a good one. So Mel and I just we don't do anything consumer, so we don't go to Best Buy and buy wireless access points at Best Buy. We do all enterprise stuff. So in our house, for those of you who haven't seen it yet, I did a studio tour of our house. On the ceiling of our house, at different points throughout the house, are Ubiquiti Networks wireless access points, the AC Pros. So we have those discs on the ceiling like you would see in an office. All of the wireless networks are segmented. I definitely wouldn't be running a flat network in my house. So good question, DJ. So then, so if you're on the guest wireless network, you can't jump around onto our corporate network. I don't trust our guests that they don't have malware on their shit, and then they jump on our wireless network and all my shit is fried and ransomed. No, thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into installing Burp Suite. All right, so we're going to go to portswigger.net. So for those of you who are following along, it's just portswigger.net. And you're going to see the website for Portswigger. Portswigger is the software company that creates Burp Suite. Like I said, you can buy Burp Suite Professional. there's really no point to it if you're going to be just doing what we're doing today. So you can actually just download the community edition, which is what we're going to do. So it automatically defaulted to Mac OS Intel. For those of you who are on the M1 chip, I think Oscar, you are. For anyone who's on the ARM M1, M, or even M2, I guess at this point, it's going to default to the Intel chip. Did you guys and girls see that? It defaulted to Intel. Don't accidentally download the Intel version. You want to make sure you grab ARM M1 if you're on Apple Silicon. Apple Silicon. Yeah. Okay. I mean, if you want to show the checksums, you can, and then compare, the checksums, the MD5 checksums of what you downloaded to make sure that it's the legit copy. I mean, if you want to, I don't do it. I mean, it's good practice to do it if you want. But if you to do that, all you do is just jump into a terminal shell, and then just do like an MD5 burp suite, and then it'll calculate the MD5 hash, and you can compare that. You can compare this hash to what PortSwigger is telling you the hash should be. Again, I'm just too impatient. I just F it. If I get malware, I get malware. I just re-image my machine, whatever. Okay. Cool. So we have Burp Suite Community Edition. I can close that. I'm gonna exit out of here. So let's go ahead and install Burp Suite together. What I love about I love the install process for apps on Mac. It's just Dragon. I love it. Love that. I'm not going to hate on Microsoft, everybody. I know some of you are Windows users. I won't hate on Windows. But I do love the install process for Mac apps. I mean, just like uninstalling an app is so simple. You just go to the applications folder and just delete the app once it's installed, and that uninstalls it. You don't have all these files, scattered all over the system, and it's great. All right, so we should have Burp Suite now. All right, so that's how easy it was. That's how easy it was installing Burp Suite. Let's close everything. Thing. Oh, you know what? We should take notes for the other community people in our community. Okay, so I want to oh, that's not good. Did Wirecast? Was that old? Oh, okay. Hopefully you guys and girls can still see my video. Mel, am I good on video? Okay. Okay. So when you open Burp Suite, you're gonna be faced with this right here. And what it is basically Burp Suite is like a project-based system, which I actually love this about Burp Suite. You can create a new project or temporary project, or you can create a new project on disk. Oh, look at that. Disk-based projects only supported in Burp Suite Professional. All right, so just again, for those of you who do not know, I purchased Burp Suite, and so I'm used to that being available to me. So I guess it's not available in the community edition. Sorry, but that's okay. We'll just do a temporary project. And then you can. So it's going to ask if you want to load Burp Suite defaults or if you have a configuration file that you've created and saved. It looks like the community edition will let us do that, which is cool. But you can create your own. I mean, just Burp Suite is so flexible, so powerful. You can do so many things with it. You can even create your own custom config. And you can say default to this in the future. You can also disable extensions. We're just going to start a temporary project. We're going to use Burp Suite defaults, and we're going to, that's fine. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Clicking around too much. Sorry, everyone. Too much coffee. Why does this thing keep popping up? Okay, so when you first log in, you're going to see your main dashboard for Burp Suite. These are, any active tasks that are running. These are issues that have been found that ship with Burp Suite by default. So you're going to see this stuff, vulnerable website, insecure bank. These are just examples of vulnerabilities that just ships with Burp Suite. Just for you to look at to see what, like, for example, this is what a cross-site scripting DOM-based vulnerability is, and other issues that I found that ships with it by default. Okay, so what we're going to do, this is actually good because I haven't used Community Edition. I've always used the Pro version, so at least now I'm going to be able to see what is going to be available to all of you in the Community Edition. I mean, if you have the money, look, I'm a big supporter of the open source community, and when there's an open source project that I rely on regularly in my job, I donate, or in this case, I'll buy it. I mean, it's what? Well, I mean, it's not that expensive, right? I mean, it's what, a couple $100? It's not that much. How much is Burp Suite? It's like yeah, or $400. Okay, so it's $399. All right. I mean, if you're making money, if money's not a problem, I mean, it's a great way. That way, also you're not limited in any way with the tool. I also like get freaked out if I'm using something that's restricted in some way because of a trial or a community edition, and something's not working, and I've been caught not trying to figure out what's wrong, and it was because it was excuse me, Jesus. My COVID is acting up. Um, Jeez, sorry. Okay. Um, where I was using a free version and I was trying to get something working, and it was because I was using the free version. Spend a few $100 and you've got the full Swiss Army knife. All right. So you're at the dashboard. What you're going to do is you're going to click on the proxy tab, and you're going to click on options. All right, this is the configuration for the proxy listener in Burp Suite. Now, one thing that you need to understand is that Burp Suite, think of Burp Suite as kind of like a big block of Legos. Every single one of these tabs is like a Lego block, right? So each one of these are Legos that you can use and send packets to that you've captured in proxy. So that's I'm assuming that's why it's organized the way it is that proxy is to the far left, because you can then send your packets from proxy into intruder or repeater. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to add, and you're going to say all interfaces. And do all of you remember that port we put in earlier on my iPhone? It was 8082, right? So we're going to say bind address to all interfaces and bind to port 8082. All right. That's all you're going to do. Don't accidentally leave it on this. Don't leave it on that. It's all interfaces. That way, this Mac Studio will be, it's on the same wireless network as my phone. Make sure you're obviously on the same network as your computer. And you're just going to say, hey, Burp Suite, I want you to listen on all my NICs. Just listen for an incoming connection to port 8082. And we're going to hit OK. Says, are you sure you want to listen on all interfaces? Say yes. And we're going to say intercept. Intercept is off. On. We want to keep it off. And now, let me switch. So now that that's running, we still have to do something. All right. We still need to. So, oops. Can all of you see my phone? Let me make sure. Sorry. Let me pull up my window. Where'd you guys go? Okay. Okay. You can see my phone. Cool. Wait, can you? Oh, it's because I'm sharing my desktop. Okay, so you guys are gonna see no internet connection because it's airing out on SSL or TLS. All right. So I just want to review this configuration with all of you again. So we've got 192.168.1.56, which is my IP address of EN1. I'm going to just verify that again, if config EN1. And it's 192, oops, if config 192.168.1.56, and then port 8082. Okay. So it's freaking out because basically it's saying there's no internet connection because of an SSL TLS issue. And that's because the certificate profile for Burp Suite hasn't been installed on our phone yet. So now that we're pointed at the proxy, we need to install the proxy certificate for Burp Suite. And then so to do that, we're just going to type in Burp Suite with Safari. We're going to type in Burp Suite, and it's going to give us this. This website has an outdated security configuration, that's fine. Click Show Details. And then if you understand the risks, visit the website anyway. Oh, that should work. Okay. Oh, is it working? Hold on one second. I'm getting packets in Burp Suite, which is cool, but let's find out what's going on. I'm thinking that it's not SSL traffic. 1 second. Let's go to general. About. Oh, I think I have this certificate installed already. Oh, it's Midem proxy. Okay. How can I switch that to Burp Suite? One second. Check something. Might need to disable TLS. Okay, 1 second. Options. Let me switch to. So I did read about this and ran into this one time where, let me switch cameras. Let me share my screen. So, where you actually have to disable TLS. Let me show you. Configure an iOS device. So, no, in some cases you may need to disable TLS 1.3 and Burp's proxy listener settings. Test the configuration. So let me check. I'm going to check just going to. Oh, you know what? I have an idea. Hold on. Let me try Chrome. Yeah. Where's TLS? TLS pass through. I don't want to do that though. Mm. Where are you? Okay, I see this. The funny thing is we're getting, you can see here, oh, see, that's exactly, they're not HTTPS requests. So HTTP is working, but not HTTPS, and it's because we don't have the certificate. But I don't see an area where we can disable TLS version 3. Hold on, I'm just checking chat, make sure I'm here. It's only me that's having kind of blurry screen even on 1080p. If any of you guys are having a blurry screen, yeah, I don't know. Check. I think yeah, you guys should only be able to stream from YouTube, and I think it only streams at 1080p. Hopefully, not all of you are running into blurry screen issues. Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can troubleshoot this. Hmm. The other option is we can just do it manually. Um, okay. Uh, I know that's what I was going to explain to all of you is you can do it on Android um, the same way. Because if I go to portswigger.net, yeah, http:// it's automatically forwarding me. Oh, that's interesting. It's using SSL. What happens if we, let me go to Burp Suite and check it now and see if we see the, oh yeah, I see the SSL in there. Check this. You guys got to see this. Check this out. Hold on. Let me go to, let me share my screen. Oh, you guys can, all right. I'm already sharing my screen. Oh, on your phone, you needed to go to HP Burp. Oh, thanks, Matt. Let me try that. Um, sorry, everyone. All right. Let's try just HP Burp. Maybe they need to update their documentation. Dude, you rock, Matt. Thank you, man. All right, Burp Suite Community Edition, CA certificates. Okay, so you're gonna get this pop-up. This website is trying to download configuration profile. Do you want to allow this? I saw this, so you're gonna get the same pop-up on Minim proxy as well. And when we go through Minim proxy, we're gonna do the same thing. I need to yell at Portswigger and tell them they need to fix that in their documentation. So choose a device. You're gonna say on which device would you like to install this profile? You just hit iPhone, and then it's gonna download the profile. Now, do all of you remember when? Damn, Matt, I owe you. You know what? I owe you a T-shirt. I owe you a T-shirt. Thanks for that. So then it's gonna download the profile, and then you're just gonna go back. If any of you remember where I did that, showed you that profile earlier for Minim proxy, you're gonna see the same thing for Burp Suite. So just go to settings, general, about, and then certificate trust settings. Oh, look at that. It's not listed. Why isn't it listed? It should be listed here. Did I hit ignore? iPhone. All right, maybe it's in a different part of settings. Did it get moved in the new iOS? See general, about. What's going on? It used to be there. Where is it moved to? I mean, I see Midim proxy there. Why isn't? Hold on. Oh, look at that. Holy crap, they moved it. Look at that. All right, so let's talk about that for a minute. So, okay. That's the kind of shit that pisses me off with Apple. Apple, I love you. I love you. I love you. But it's stupid shit like why would that be in the VPN device management screen? It used to be in general. Do all of you, if you any of you done this before in previous versions of iOS, you would go to general, you would go to about, and then you would see that there under about in certificate trust settings, and then you would see all the profiles there. Wow, that sucks. Okay, let's go back. Yeah, it was under VPN. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, VPN and device management. What the F, man? What the F? Okay, so here's Port Swigger. So all of you can see that now. Port Swigger, it's not verified. We're gonna hit the install in the top right-hand corner. It's gonna ask for my passcode. So then I guess then now they've moved that to the certificate trust thing. So that's once you install it here under VPNs, which WTF, what does that have to do with VPNs? That's nothing to do with VPNs, whatever. So, okay. So we've just installed it. So as you can see that now I can go to about and certificate trust settings and look at that. Port Swigger is there. God damn, man. Okay, so let's disable the Midim proxy one because I'm not using that right now. But let's go ahead and enable Port Swigger CA. Root certificate warning, enabling the certificate for websites will allow third parties to view any private data, then that's fine. Hit continue because that's what we want. So now, let me switch back to cameras. Now our my iPhone trusts the Port Swigger certificate, and the Port Swigger certificate is what I'm going to get for third-party SSL certificate websites. So now we should be able to perform what I call woman in the middle attacks or Winim attacks against these mobile apps that are installed on my phone. All right, so let's go back over that again. Okay, so what I did was we installed Burp Suite. We went into the options for proxy settings, and we told Burp Suite to listen on all interfaces on port 8082. And we went into the wireless settings for wireless networks for Night Point, which is my wireless access point. And we went in there and we told it to use a manual proxy configuration. We put in the IP address of my Mac Studio. We put in port 8082 because that's where we told Burp Suite to listen on. And now, thanks, Matt, we got the correct DNS name. So you just type in burp and in Safari. Now you cannot, I want to warn you, and Matt, I don't know if you ran into the same thing, but you cannot do that with Chrome. So if you use Chrome and you try and go to it, the iPhone will not detect that as a new profile to be downloaded and installed. It like downloads the file and then you have to go through the file manager and do it manually. It sucks. It's a terrible process. So you have to do it with Safari. I've only been able to get it to work with Safari. So make sure you're in Safari, and then once all that's configured, you just type in burp and it will take you to that special web page to download and install the certificate file. All right, that's where we're at. All right. And then now we've gone into certificate trust settings. And you basically turn the on button on for that certificate once it's installed. All right. Yeah, Matt, I swear to God, I want to say that I spent like more than an hour trying to figure that out. I'm like, it's not giving me the pop-up window. What is happening? And it's because Chrome just like sees it as this just dot, CA file or whatever the hell. the extension is, and it just downloads it to your phone, and it's a pain in the ass. And you're like, where the hell is the file? You're trying to find the file, and it's just load up Safari, and then hit it with Safari. But we definitely need to let I'll send an email to Portswigger and let them know that yeah, it's not Burp Suite, it's Burp. Okay, cool. Thanks, Matt. Okay, I'm gonna check chat here for a minute. So I know how to program this on Android device. Okay, Jose, on an Android device. What you're gonna do on an Android, what's different about Android is it's not as sexy and easy, free flowing. You can't just load up, a web browser and then browse to Burp and then get that pop-up window. You don't get that on an Android. What you have to do is you need to turn on the proxy, and then you need to point your computer that's running Burp Suite at the proxy. So point it at localhost 8082, and then you need to type in Burp in your web browser on the computer running Burp Suite. Then you'll get the web page. You download the certificate file manually, and then you email it to yourself. And then you go on to you go onto your Android tablet or whatever, and then you type in, you load up your email client, and you go to email, and then you grab the file attachment, and you do it that way. You just click on the file attachment. You have to just email it to yourself. That's what's different about Android, is instead of hitting it with your web browser, you have to go through this extra step through email. It totally sucks, but you basically email yourself the certificate file. That's how you do it. So what's nice about iOS, once you get the right domain name, with DNS name, you hit it with Safari and you get the pretty pop-up window, and then you go and you enable it. That's it. Okay. I agree with you, Matt. Life is much easier on Android. It's not as restrictive for sure. Alrighty then. All right. So we should have a bunch of goodies waiting for us in Burp Suite now. Yes, we do. All right. So let me share my screen so all of you can see this. So you're in the proxy tab. So if you're in Burp Suite, you're going to click on proxy, and then intercept. Make sure intercept is off. I want to say that sometimes a load of Burp Suite and intercept will automatically be turned on by default. I think maybe in the newest versions they stopped doing that because it's just such a gotcha. But make sure that this doesn't say on, or it's going to ask you to confirm every. You see this? This is that bullshit. That's that bullshit. You have to sit here, and then you have to tell it to what you want to do with it. You can drop it, you can forward it. It's just a pain in the ass. So keep it off, because you're not really going to be doing real-time interception. You could you just turn it off, and you're like, oh, but what if you're like, Alyssa, with intercept off, I can't see the packets anymore. It's in your history tab. They're all waiting. They're all going to be waiting for you in history. So you don't, because what happens is when intercept is on, you've got all these freaking pop-ups that oh, this is another app. That's another app. That's another app. That's not the app I'm trying to intercept. That's not the other. And you have to keep hitting forward, forward, forward. It's a pain in the butt. Just don't deal with it. Turn off intercept and just go to HP history. All right. So what I'm going to do, are all of you ready to hack? All of you ready to hack? Let's do this. Let's do this. All right. So let's see. Now, we talked about certificate pinning and how to get around that. We're going to do an episode on that, I promise. But let's find an app that hasn't implemented pinning. No, that's a client. I can't click on that. One of these icons is an actual client that I just finished a pen test for, and I don't want to use it. It's a bad idea. Let's do Bed Bath & Beyond. Is Bed Bath & Beyond pinning their app? They are not pinning their app. Look at that. They are not pinning their app. Can you guys still see my phone, or what's happening right now? Oh, you guys are not seeing my phone because I'm sharing my screen. I'm sorry. Okay, so Bed Bath & Beyond is not doing certificate pinning. Let me see. Oh, that's order lookup. Am I logged in? Let me see if I'm logged in. As you can tell, Mel and I shop at Bed Bath and Beyond. Let's see. Here. Account. Oh, sign in. Here we go. Yeah. If you do not use LastPass, all of you should use LastPass. Great app. My password is clearly wrong. Oh. Oh. I must have changed my password at some point. Oh! Sorry. I realize you guys can see me typing. Okay. So, all right. Enter PIN. They emailed me a PIN. Sorry, everyone. I'm just checking for my PIN number. 1 second. Did it go to junk? Maybe it went to junk. Give me something to talk about. What about love? Ah! Sorry, I didn't mean to scream in everyone's ear like that. How about now, Scotty? What is happening right now? Why is it asking for all this crap? All right, now you guys can see my birthday. And you have my mobile phone number now. All right. So here's the app, and we can see that now let's go over to I'm gonna stop sharing this. So we're in the app right now. And then let's see, Leonardo. No comment on that one. I can't comment on that one. Okay, so let me go back to sharing my screen. Where is it? All right, so here we have all the Bed Bath and Beyond stuff. I don't know who Quantum Metric is. Quantum Metric. That's weird. All right. Okay. So here, welcome to your reward account. And then, oh, look at that. All right. So here we have a fetch customer account key email, and then and that's actually in the get string. So here we have an API request going to APIs/services/loyalty program version 1, and then you've got the whole URL, right? Okay, so I want to kind of slow down here for a minute and talk to you for a second. Where am I? Ugh, switching through all these screens is killing me. All right. So what we have done is we're now intercepting all of our packets in Burp Suite because everything is going from our phone through Burp Suite, and Burp Suite is forwarding it on to Bed Bath and Beyond, right? You guys, girls, all understand that, right? So because we installed the Burp Suite certificate on our phone, Burp Suite is sitting in the middle of that communication. The Burp Suite mobile app thinks it's talking to the Burp Suite server. It's not. It's talking to Burp Suite, and Burp Suite is forwarding that on, allowing Burp Suite to decrypt the data, right? So I actually got trolled for this on social media by someone who was like, "Alyssa, this is bullshit. There's no way you're decrypting that TLS. It's encrypt." It's like, dude, that's what a woman in the middle attack is, right? You're presenting a certificate. So Burp Suite is sending a certificate to the Bed Bath and Beyond API endpoints with a certificate and saying, "Hey, I'm your mobile app. I want to communicate with you," and it's accepting it, and then it's sending us a certificate, and we've accepted that. So Burp Suite is basically proxying that traffic. It's sitting in the middle of that communication, allowing Burp Suite to decrypt it, right? So all of the mobile app traffic from the Bed Bath and Beyond mobile app is being forwarded on to Bed Bath and Beyond by Burp Suite. Okay, so that allows us to see it. All right, now in the HB history tab are all of the API requests. They're everything that all the traffic from my phone. If I load up Chrome and I go to gmail.com, or if I load up Chrome and go to nightstudios.co, all those packets are going to go right into Burp Suite. Okay, any packets leaving my phone are going to go into Burp Suite, and it's going to show up in that HB history tab. Okay, all right. Let me go back to sharing my screen. Okay, so what I do next in this pen test so this Hack Me healthcare company, we're looking at their app, and we're seeing stuff. We're just I'm just scrolling through this, and this is the most time consuming part of your pen test. All of you got to put on your patient hat in this one. You got to be patient with API pen testing because this is going to be very time consuming. Because you're going to have to look through this and look for exposed object IDs, and I'll explain that in a minute here too. Okay, so look at this. This is my Amazon Music app, right? So we're even capturing that. So all the stuff going to Amazon, because there's no certificate pinning enabled on those apps, it's communicating just fine, right? I don't know what this is. Some kind of Amazon Cloud Player. It looks like Amazon stuff. Bazaar Voice. I don't know what the hell that is. Amazon. So now you can go in here and just flip through them. You can also filter on specific servers, whatever. But let's go to Bed Bath and Beyond stuff. I'm assuming it's the BBBB. All right, so here I'm pretty interested in this, right? Pretty interested in that. So now what if we were to go in here and go in and into this value string, because it's something we can make sense of, and we type in a different email address. Let's say, I don't know, we want to take, instead of elistanight@outlook.com, we want to change that to a different customer to see if we can get another person's info. Now, how do you do that? Well, you could take this whole thing and you can copy it, and then you could load up Postman. Oh, sorry, did I forget to share my screen? Am I sharing my screen? Yeah, I am. So you could copy this and paste this into Postman and recreate the packet. Or, watch this, everyone. You watching? You watching? Right click, send to repeater. What? What? Look at that. Look at that. So we're sending, we basically went into the proxy tab into history, and we found a packet we're interested in that looks interesting. We don't know what it is yet. We don't know what we can do with it yet. And we just right clicked and we said send a repeater. Now we're in the repeater tab, and guess what? We can change this value. And we could see, hey, maybe we can change this to a different email address, a different customer, and pull up their customer info. Right? So screw it. Let's just do it. Mel's like, don't do it, Alyssa. Don't do it. Don't do it. I don't know. I mean, is this illegal? I mean, technically, I mean, I don't know. How should I do it, guys? Should I do it? I don't know. All right, fuck it. So here we've sent the request. It says all request parameters exist, but an associated memory count was not found. Huh. That's interesting. So if the account exists, it will give us their account information. Huh. So that's interesting. I think I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop here, and since we technically don't have any of their permission to be doing, so that's what you're doing. You're just going through like each and every packet in the proxy tab from every packet that you captured from that customer's mobile app, and you're going through there. You're looking for exposed object IDs. Now you're probably saying, okay, Alyssa, what is an exposed object ID? That makes no sense. Okay, an exposed object ID, and I think I know we're at time. I really want to show all of you this. Do all of you mind staying a little late? Just let me show you this real fast. All right, let me just show you this real fast. Okay. Who wants to hack a healthcare API? Okay. So this is a Smart on Fire app. And here's a list of doctors, and here's the password, right? All right. So I'm going to copy this. Actually, I'm going to copy this. And we're going to go over to Burp Suite. And we're going to go to the proxy tab. And under the Intercept tab, you're going to see a button here called Open Browser. Open Browser. Okay. Now, this is what I freaking love about Burp Suite. All right. It has a built-in Chromium browser for you to hack web APIs. And what will it do, everyone? What will it do? It throws the packets directly into Burp Suite without me modifying my proxy configuration. I love it. Okay, so we're going to go to this healthcare app. If any of you are asked if any of this happened, you don't know what they're talking about. Who's Alyssa Knight? What are you talking about? Alyssa who? She hacked what? Healthcare API what? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know an Alyssa Knight. All right. So this is a Smart on Fire mobile app, Smart on Fire web app, and what this is it allows you to log in as a specific doctor for the app, and gives you a list of patients to access. So we're accessing this patient as a doctor, and it's giving us all of their blood pressure information, all of their vital healthcare stats, right? So blood pressure, pulse, glucose levels, pain level, respiration, temperature. So when let me kind of here, let me switch back. Let me talk to all of you for a minute, y'all. So when COVID happened, there in at least for those of you who live in the United States, maybe even other countries, you can speak to this, but in the US at least, there was an explosion of what are called M Health apps. There was this huge explosion, and then our president, I want to say it was President Obama, signed something called the 21st Century Cures Act. And what it did is it mandated that all healthcare payers and providers deploy what are called FHIR APIs. FHIR, not FIRE, but FHIR, Fast Healthcare Interoperability and Resources. And what happened was these FHIR apps, sorry, let me disable the proxy on my phone so we don't get a bunch of garbage in there when we're doing our hacking. And then we'll continue. Sorry, give me 1 second. Disable. Just go back into configure proxy instead of manual, turn it to off, and it'll turn off your proxy. I've left that on before. It's just just remember to do that. Yes, Funky Monk. That is my wife's favorite movie. Fight Club. I never saw Fight Club until Mel introduced it to me. But yeah, first rule of Shadow Academy. Yes, for those of you who've seen Fight Club, that was great, Funky. Love it. So, it's the 21st Century Cures Act mandated that all healthcare payers and providers make patient data available through FHIR APIs. FHIR, FHIR is Fast Healthcare Interoperability and Resources, and it's a schema. It's a blueprint for how to make this specific type of API. All healthcare providers and payers are mandated by law now to make all patient data available through FHIR APIs. So I, as a patient, can access my patient records and data when I need it. So I put my hacker hat on, so I oh wow, this sounds really hackable. And thus was born playing with fire, which is the research that I did where I hacked 30 fire APIs, intermediaries, and gained access to millions of patient records because these APIs are vulnerable. Anyway, this app that you're seeing is a fire API. Okay, well, let's just leave it at that. All right, let me go back to sharing my screen. So, as a doctor, I have access to these patient records, right? So, let's pull up a different one, Mrs. Dana, whatever her name is. Let's see. So, we've got all this patient data. We can flip through it, whatever. But the neat thing here is, we can go over to Burp Suite, and we should see all that in the proxy tab now. And look at that, everybody. Look at that. Look at that. All right. So now the interesting thing here. Oh, let me show all these something. This is really cool because we're going to get into token hacking bearer tokens. So let me explain this to you. So there's a website called jwt.io, and you can actually paste the bearer token in here, and it automatically decodes it for you. Look at that. Look at that, everybody. Whoa. Whoa. So it will actually, you can take an encoded JOT token, which is basically your authentication token, and paste it into jot.io, and it'll decode it for you and give you all the information in the token. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So here you can see that this is glucose information for this patient, temperature information. I want to show you something. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay. So we all right. So we launched this app, right? We launched this app and we logged in as this doctor, right? We change the doctor. Let's add whatever. Access Derek the patient. And we've got all of the information for Derek, right? But look what's happening here. Take a close look at this. This is part of the research that I did in hacking all those apps, those fire apps. Do you see this GET request? Someone tell me what's wrong with it. Tell me what you see in there. Someone go in there. Tell me what you see. All right, let me. Here's another bear token. I want to decode that. See what that looks like. Oh, look at that. The patient's ID is actually perpended to the rest of the token. That's interesting. All right, let's not go down that rabbit hole. All right, so we're gonna have a lot of fun together, everybody. So where was I? Where was I? Oh, someone tell me what's wrong with this request. Take a really close look at this request. What sticks out for you? Right? So this is the request that we sent in our web browser, and here's the response from the API server. This is all of the patient's info, all their vital stats. All right, let me go to back to chat. Let me see what some of you are saying. Oh, sorry, TJ, it's hard to see. Okay. So for those of you who are having trouble seeing it, let me go back to it. So what's happening is, can I zoom in? Oh, I can't magnify. All right, but let me right click and send this to repeater. So all of you should see something here in the URL where it says patient equals. For those of you who can see that, it says get VR4 fire observation question mark patient equals to, and then a string of numbers. Well, that we know will give us this particular patient, right? I just sent it. I just sent it to repeater and I just sent it again. What if we were to change that patient to something else, right? What if we were to send it? All right, now we know that Derek is ends in 663, but what if we were to change it to a different patient? Let's log in as a different doctor. Oh, it's not giving us. Let me try putting in her name manually. Dominga Vaughn. Dominga Vaughn. Let's try Dominga Vaughn. Ooh, that's not good. Let's not go to the real thing. Dominga Vaughn. Dominga. Oh, it doesn't let me. Okay, let's just say that we have a different ID, right, for a patient because they're exposing that patient field. What if we were to use a different ID? What if we were to go to, I don't know, patient 001, right? So it would give us that information because the API is allowing us to pass that over to this, to the server. And because they're exposing the patient ID, if we have another patient ID, we can feed it in there and get that patient's information, right? So that's all it is. So that's just one of the things that I wanted to show you with and I'm sorry, I know we're way out of time, but you're just basically just going through here and you're looking for things where, a particular person's. Oh, look here. Is this a different one? A different. I think this is a different. If we go here, I think that's a different patient ID. Let's try that one. Nope. Okay. But you're just going in here and you're just finding things where it's exposing like a patient or a user in the actual request. Sometimes you'll see things like down here. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. My username and password. All right. Remember, first rule of Shadow Academy. um, so that's weird. All right. So yeah, we logged in. It gave us this jot token in response. Um, so if we feed in a different username, we should get a new jot token. But I mean, you're looking for things where things are exposed either on the body, the request, or the HP request itself, like a patient or something. What's this vendor jQuery? Oh, this is Bed Bath and Beyond stuff. We should get into that more too. That'd be a lot of fun. Maybe we can get permission from Bed Bath and Beyond to play with their APIs. Free pen test for some posts. Oh, posts are a lot of fun to work with too. So if you find, like, for example, you could take this, send it to repeater. This is a post request instead of a get request. So post a v1 open this information, and then what if you were to change this? These are all fields, right? You can do full app too. You can say my local IP is not this, it's .100, right? And then send it along, and that will be posted to the API. So I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's really, like I mentioned, it's a really time consuming process. You really need to go through here. And what I do sometimes, everyone, boys and girls, is I and everything in between, so non-binary, is I'll create a workbook. I'll create an Excel workbook, and I'll actually just paste it. So, like, let's say, for example, I come here. I don't know. Let me find. Where's that one? To this one. So I'll go here and I'll copy it, and I'll actually just paste it, right? And then I'll say, this is me logging in. Okay. If I change here, it looks like we're pulling up an observation for respirations. Let's see, what's this? Respirations. Wait, right? So here, this is, me checking weight. So I'm basically recording each and every request for every option that I choose on the web page or on the mobile app. So I'm recording every request. And if there's a special body that needs to be in it, like let me find something with a body. Um yeah, like this, right? So here I'm saying, okay, well, this was me, I don't know, doing whatever. This is the request API request, and then this is the body. This is what my body has to contain. And then what I'll do is I'll form another column over here where I'll put the body. And then I'll do this for every single option in the web app, every single button, every single button. And then I'll record it. So here, like I'll go over here and I'll say, okay, I don't want to do that. Let's do something a little bit more fun. Let's do what, chest pain application? What the heck is that? So this is the chest pain information for this particular patient. Um, and then I'll go on here. Blood pressure. Like I love seeing stuff like this. Like, oh, this is the patient ID, right? Or whatever. This uh, it's probably tying it to my particular bearer token, right? So this is probably the patient's email address or the doctor's email address. And go here, and yeah, it's our doctor, Derek Becker. So I mean, you're trying everything possible thing in the app that you can find that you can possibly mutate or modify and send it on to the API server and seeing how the API server reacts, right? Like here's one, I go down here and I guess it's passing what my Wi-Fi info. What is this crap? PV Player SDK for Amazon Cloud Player. Oh, I guess it's telling Amazon that I'm on a Wi-Fi network, whatever. Let's see here. I don't know. We could play with. We'll play with more stuff, but and more Apple. Jeez Louise. Amazon Music Player. I guess. Well, it sends a lot of data. Or Bed Bath and Beyond stuff. Here we can see what the response is from this data. Production environment, query, college page, and then yeah, I mean all this stuff we can play around with, right? So it's the most time consuming thing you'll do. You'll play with. But that's it. That's how you get packets from either your mobile app or the web app that's communicating with an API into Burp Suite, and then you just go in here. Oh, check this out. Here's a hash check. So we can put in a different hash and post it to the API server, and hope to get a response. Right. You're playing with different options in an app and finding out what's possible and what you can do. Attribution key. I don't know what that is. I have to look into that. Get ID. You look for stuff in the get strings. I've seen developers put passwords in the get string, which is shocking. Okay. That's it, baby. All right, let's see if there's any questions. Alyssa, client failed to negotiate connection, remote host terminated, handshake. Oh, okay. Okay. So Funky Monkey. Um, when an app has implemented certificate pinning, you're going to see TLS SSL handshake errors. The app may crash. So you may, like, once you've turned on proxy and you've clicked on an icon to load an app, if it crashes, certificate pinning. If you get the error, handshake error that you're getting, certificate pinning. I'm going to show all of you how to get around certificate pinning. There's a way to do it. All right, we're going to have a class on that. So that is coming. So was that fun? Was that cool? All of you should be like Burp Sweet Ninjas now. No, I'm just kidding. You will get there. Just keep playing with it. So all that research where I figured out how to remotely start and stop engines of any Ford vehicle as long as you knew the VIN number. It was because Ford was exposing the VIN number in the request, and I could just copy and paste any VIN, put the VIN number, and put it in there, and it would let me control that VIN, that ID, even if the car wasn't in my virtual garage. So what you're looking for is you're looking for you're welcome, Funky. What you're looking for is you're looking for, and Funky, if you get that whole thing, it's, I'm sorry, everyone, I know we're going way over time, but if you get an error message because the developers implemented certificate pinning, what you can do is just move on to a different app, and then I will show you how to get around certificate pinning later. All right. But just play with another app. Just go onto your phone and find another app to play with and look at. My advice, don't do anything that would be considered, illegal, or like don't mess with their APIs. Don't try and post data to their APIs that shouldn't, be inserted into the database. Just be careful here because you are sending packets to the APIs. All right, so be careful. But the neat thing about it is there are some APIs out there that you can go to, like the one that I found for the Fire Sandbox apps. And you can go in there and use Chromium built into Burp Suite and use the Chromium web browser to hit those APIs and just go through those apps, and you can find vulnerabilities in those apps. And it's sandbox data. It's like the safest place to play because it's a sandbox, right? So something to think about. And there's also some purposely vulnerable APIs that you can install. We're going to play with those. So I'll teach you how to install and play with those. We're going to have a lot of fun here in Shadow Academy. Promise. All right, TJ, Nazarene, Alpha, Funky, Jose, Matt, I love you guys. Thank you for joining us today. Jay, good to see you. Yeah, YouTube is, it sounds like all of you, it sounds like the compression is not good today on YouTube. I apologize. Hopefully when you go, maybe when this live stream is over, all of you can go back on YouTube later and rewatch this video again. Maybe it's just the live stream compression. I'm just being downgraded a lot right now for some reason. But go and try watching the video later once this live stream ends, and hopefully you can see the screens a lot better. All right. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us, Leonardo. Thanks for joining us. All good questions today. Allah, thank you for joining us. Nazarene, Battleground Tournament, thanks for joining us. Yeah, TJ, Oscar, it's good to see all of you again. All right, so that's it for Burp Suite. Yeah, that was awesome. That was fun, right? Hopefully everyone had a good time. Have a good day or night wherever you are. Have a good night's sleep if you're about to go to bed. Sweet dreams. And thank you again. Thank you, Mel. You did a great job on producing today. Thank you. Thanks, Funky. I will see all of you in the next Shadow Academy. Have a great night or a great day.